This episode of Living the Dram is brought to you by Rupert's Pet Cremation and Transport. Rupert's Pet Cremation and Transport offers individual pet cremations on the Central Coast. They aim to ease the grief associated with losing a beloved pet by providing a compassionate and respectful service. Rupert's fully trained and caring team will look after everything, from collection to return of your pet's ashes within 4 business days. They have a range of urns to choose from, and you can personalise the plaque with your own inscription. Furthermore, each cremation package comes with a free memorial box with a range of keepsakes. You can also customise your package by adding a framed paw print mould and or garden memorial stone. More information is available at www.rpct.com.au. Mention this podcast for a free paw print mould for your cremation package. Conditions apply. Rupert's Pet Cremation and Transport, they treat your pet like their own.
Good evening, and welcome to the Halloween special episode of Living the Dram.
Fuck, you've really turned it on, haven't you, buddy?
This is actually the only costume that I own that I've ever made. Every fancy dress party ever, I just rock up as a fucking pirate.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, it's custom made, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I'll let you all in on a little secret, especially those of you on YouTube. It's a puffy shirt.
Superb. I'm not one for costumes or dress ups, but no. I've made I've made an effort.
Yeah. You didn't take too much arm twisting either.
I
expected a bit more,
well,
a bit more of a resistance from you.
I looked at it and went, it's not going to fit on my head. I'm wearing headphones. And then it did. So I had to commit to it.
Do you believe in ghosts, Mick?
I believe in stupid people. I believe in unexplained, irrational conclusions drawn from strange events. But yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know if I believe in ghosts. I do believe in stupid people, though. And I think that's got a lot to do with most of the stuff you hear.
I'm a man of science, and I've heard my man crush of the decade, Brian Cox.
What a guy.
I've heard him debunk it profusely using basically the laws of thermodynamics. Not that I understand too much of what he's on about, but
I'd back him in. I'd back him in.
I'd pretty much fuck a meat grinder if he asked me to.
I've had weird experiences.
I was going to say, have you had any spooky experiences?
I've had spooky experiences that, with the benefit of many years of hindsight and a brain that loves to analyse and soak up scientific fact, I think I was probably just tripping. But I've a couple of weird things. That the weird thing that the family goes on about, because every family's got their own weird thing, right? Yeah. So we buried my grandfather many years ago now. I was just a boy, maybe 13, 14, something like that. And we went out to the little place out near Bathurst called Wattle Flat where he grew up. And when we were laying his ashes to rest, Mum and my auntie, I think his eldest daughter, and my nan, sorry, not Mum, my nan and my auntie, so his wife and his eldest daughter were walking back up the road. Someone turned around and took a photo. And in that photo, there is a human-shaped thing walking next to them.
Apparition as such.
It's probably just a trick of the light. I'm not a photographer, so I don't understand that shit, but I'm sure a fucking fancy photographer would be able to explain it to me. But of course, to the family, that was Grandpa. Grandpa coming to say hello. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I'm a man of science as well, and to be honest with you, I don't know. I know there's a lot of things we don't understand. I'm happy to sit on the fence on this one and just go, you know what, dude?
Hold splinters.
Yep. I don't know I don't know what the fuck I believe.
Yeah. Changes. My beliefs change almost as much as my underwear sometimes.
Well, the only thing I really get pissed off about is conviction in people. Like when people cannot start from the viewpoint of I could be wrong. Conviction's fucked. I'm certainly not convinced either way.
I had one spooky incident. It was the first night we moved to the last house that my family lived in altogether. And one morning I woke up and I could have just been in that weird sleep zone, where semi-lucid. I had this radio torch that was given to me, and it also had like a siren function, and the siren was going off. And as soon as I sort of got up to reach for it, it stopped. And then I just laid back down and went to sleep, somewhat disgruntled. And later on, when I got up, I just checked it to see, like, oh fuck, was it on? There wasn't even batteries in it. So, but that was the only thing that ever happened weird at that house. My family often say, similar to when my grandfather passed away, which I would have been about 3 or 4, I think, maybe 4. They swear that the family clock kept stopping at the time that he passed away.
Yeah, right.
And also my auntie was doing the dishes one night and the back doorbell kept ringing and there was no one there. I don't know why my nan had a back doorbell, but I guess a small country town, it's probably pretty common. A lot of our friends used to visit our house via the back door.
Yeah, I didn't have a fucking doorbell, though.
There was a back laneway. And when she'd go back to the sink, she reckons this happened 2 or 3 times. And when she went back to the sink, like the glass that he would drink out of would be sitting, while she was doing the dishes, was sitting, just sitting next to where she'd left them to dry, the drying rack.
I wonder if that's just someone trolling her hard. Just like the kid
like
next door or something. Yeah, let's go ring the doorbell, and then while she's at the back door, we'll fucking run around the front, get his favourite glass out, because we're proper cunts.
They were only probably about 5 metres away. The kitchen was only about 5 metres from the back door.
Well, look,
I'm sure there is...
There's unexplained shit that happens.
Yeah, there's shit that happens that's yet to be explained, but I...
Fucking A.
I
just always err on the side of, my default position is you being fucked with.
Yeah.
Or you're stupid.
And she was also the black sheep of the family by far.
Yeah, cool.
So anything could have been going on there.
I don't think all people that believe in stuff like that are stupid. I just think a lot of stupid people really buy into that whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Astrology.
So
don't get me wrong.
particular.
If you're one of those people that's kind of like, fuck you, Hursty. I think shit's fucking not as black and white as you think it is. Trust me, I think it's many shades of grey. But I'm not lumping you all on the same thing. I'm merely making the observation that there is a correlation between people that get fanatical about fucking
for sure.
shit and intelligence.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Scotland certainly has its fair share of ghost stories.
It fucking does, doesn't it?
They are a superstitious bunch.
And I mean, it's
they
partly...
were, anyway. I can't vouch for the current state of affairs.
And that's a part of the world that kind of... A lot of these traditions that have been co-opted by the Catholic Church came from. Scotland, Ireland, the old Celtic and Gaelic cultures, so...
There's a few distilleries in particular that have some fantastic tales that we've chosen to share with you today, actually.
Well, we've chosen to drink the whiskey, but we figured that to do a podcast and drink the whiskey, we had to have some stories to go with it. Yeah. So, our whiskies are in line with Halloween.
So, rather than bore you with I don't know if you get bored from regaling the history of many distilleries. Some of it's quite interesting.
I find it interesting, but yeah.
But today we've researched some of the most haunted distilleries in Scotland. And the tales we've decided to share with you come from none other than, and I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, the Glenrothes. Could be Glenrothes.
Yeah, I think I automatically pronounce it Glenrothes.
Okay.
But I don't know if I've ever heard it. It's another one of those words, like so many fucking words that I've only ever read, and I'm just kind of like, well, that sounds right. But that's fucked with Scottish shit.
Yeah. Yeah, Gaelic.
It's probably called... Jesus. It's probably pronounced Alex.
Glen Alex. We've chosen the Whiskey Maker's Cut from their array. From there, we'll move on to the island of Jura. And we've chosen to sample a 2018 bottling of the 18-year-old.
Lovely. I haven't tried that either.
Yeah, it was memorable.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to revisiting as it's been a little while. And then from there, we'll travel a few hundred feet to the Isle of Isla, which is one of my favourites of all time. The White Sands 17-year-old, which I believe is a 2015 bottling.
She's a lovely drop, the White Sands. I'm very happy that this was a selection for the evening.
All right. So may as well, let's hook in without further ado.
Fucking hell, I'm going to nose this cunt.
Yeah. The Glenrothes. I'm hoping I've put them in the right order, actually.
So am I.
Give us a look. No, I've definitely grabbed something else.
I think mine are in the right order.
Might have put them both on the inside.
Oh, hang on. They're very different. They're both sherry.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's match them with colour. So this is the kind of professional product you get when you listen to Living the Dram podcast.
Yes.
Thank God we have editing. Fuck, we're going to have to smell out the bottle, aren't we?
We're going to.
Yeah. Because we can't fuck this up.
Not at all. But I've definitely grabbed the same one as you've grabbed first.
Fuck, now I don't know which one's which. So I reckon that... Yeah, I reckon that smells like Glenrothes. And I reckon that smells like Jura. It smells smoother, this one.
The, clang.
Oh, this is for you, Max. Oh, crap. That was terrible. Yeah, that. Yep, I reckon you're right.
Them two are the same.
And I reckon these two are the same. So where's your other one there? Oh, fuck. I think this is actually this one then.
Yep, that's what I believe as well.
Alright, so that's the Jura. This is the Glenrothes. Yeah, that makes sense because the Jura seems to have a better robe on it, which I'd expect than the no age statement. Alright, take two.
Well, now that we're pretty much concurring on which one is our Glenrothes, let's toast to the ghost.
Toast to the ghost. I dig that. Fucking A.
That one was for Byway.
Byway. What a story there, eh?
Yeah, this is stellar. Coincidentally, there's a graveyard that lies directly across the street from the Glenrothes distillery, and for some reason there's a black fungus which seems to thrive at all of Scotland's whiskey distilleries, probably because it's a damp, miserable place. Doesn't stop us from loving it dearly.
Fuck no, it'd be interesting to look into. Note for the future.
But at Glenrothes, the fungus has spread further afield to blacken the gravestones, which adds to the eerie effect. And at the Glenrothes distillery, it's customary to toast to the ghost before each tasting. And over the years, many a dram has been consumed in memory of one Bawa, or Byway, as they called him, Makalanga, who's said to have once have haunted the distillery.
Now that's a strange name for a Scotsman.
Certainly is, but we'll get to that. Well, how Byway found himself in the small warrior village is a very intriguing tale in itself, in and of itself, even. Perhaps the real oddity in the story is that during his lifetime, Byway's connection with the whiskey industry involved another distillery altogether. So why he started haunting Glenrothes is, fair bit of a mystery. Cut to Major James Grant, the proprietor of Glen Grant Distillery.
Indeed.
He was a well-known eccentric, pretty impulsive, pretty innovative, fascinated by new ideas and wasn't afraid to get amongst it.
We'd call him a trailblazer in today's terms.
You'd almost call him the Elon Musk of his time.
If Elon Musk was in a whiskey. Elon Musk.
I wish he was.
If Elon Musk was in whiskey. Yeah, if he was, that'd be fucking cool.
Elon Musk. Thus, Major James Grandy became the first man in the Highlands to own a car.
Fuck yeah.
Glen Grant was also the first distillery to have electric lighting.
Nice.
And he introduced tall, slender stills, which are said to give Glen Grant its unique multi-flavour to this day.
Yeah, right.
Also a born adventurer and socialiser. In 1898, he was accompanied by his second wife, Fanny, which is a name that will never cease to be anything less than humorous.
God, no. Remember the Enchanted Forest, the faraway
No,
tree?
the magic
Honestly,
faraway
man,
tree, yeah.
You would just read her name and
Cousin
giggle.
Dick was also
yeah,
in
exactly.
it.
Yeah, I think it
perverse.
was. Yeah.
Perverse.
A fucking oath.
They set sail for South Africa in search of some big game. Wanted to get their shoot on.
Well, it's the right place to go for that.
Pretty much. You're not going to find too many lions around the Highlands.
Fuck no.
British ones, maybe. Shoot those motherfuckers. And Zimbabwe was in the grip of a famine. While travelling to Bulawayo, Grant and his companions ran into two skinny orphan boys accompanied by a cattle herder and his wife.
So glad to see so much has changed in so much time.
Comes the white man to save the day. And the people in his hunting party, they sort of felt the boys' chances of survival were pretty slim if they remained with this elderly African couple. So one of the hunters declared that he was going to take the younger child home with him as a servant. And then the major said, well, I'm going to take the other. I'm not going to be outdone here.
Declared. I like that.
Declared.
No. It's not asked.
No,
declared. I'm going to take this boy home. Like,
you there, boy.
It reminds me.
Sorry, that was a slight racial slur, really.
Reminds me of a stolen generation. Anyone?
Yeah. Jesus. Won't go there. And thus, the bewildered Biawa, I'm not sure, cover all bases, found himself travelling across an ocean to the small village of Rothes.
Fuck me.
Little's pretty known about Biawa's early childhood, but they think that the name the Biawa or Biawa is a corruption of the Shona word pronounced Biwa, which means stolen. So there's a distinct possibility that Biawa had actually been stolen from his original parents, so that the couple that they met him with, might have thefted him.
Jesus, so stolen squared. Fuck me. Poor prick. No wonder nothing's known of his early life. I kind of got born that someone stole me and some other cunt stole me.
He mustn't have talked too much about it because he ended up learning English quite well. He was actually quite a character in the town.
So was this during the days where slavery was still legal, or was this illegal slavery?
I have no idea what the laws were in Scotland or in England. You'd assume, I don't know. Well, it was the British versus the Confederates, basically, wasn't it? It was the Confederates that wanted to maintain slavery, and it was
the Brits went, "Nah, this shit's pretty uncool."
Yeah. So on his return, the major employed Biawa as his page boy, and he dressed him in a little Lord Fauntleroy suit and a high white starched collar. And between duties, Biawa attended the local school and soon spoke English with the local accent. Nice. So he learnt pretty quick, I guess.
What was the accent called? Is there a name for the
just
local accent?
Town, like Rothes.
Yeah, okay, cool.
It's like saying Liverpool accent, I imagine, or a Manchester accent. There's probably a Glasgow accent.
Isn't it fucking weird how it's such a tiny place?
It's crazy.
You've got so many different accents. Yeah. Whereas you've got this massive fucking country that we live in, and everyone talks almost exactly the same. Yeah. Like it's socio-economic, differences rather than actual distance or demographic distance.
Although I can pick a Western Australian and a South Australian.
Well, that's because you listen.
Yeah. And Sydney-siders tend to speak quite fast. Queenslanders are a lot slower, but South Australians are what I would almost call like the true... When you hear an American try and do an Australian accent, I reckon they're closest to the South Australian sort of style.
Yeah, I can honestly
Except South Australians say dance instead of dance.
I can honestly say I've never picked up a difference between any of them.
Okay. See, my cousins...
But I don't listen a lot.
My cousins are from Western Australia, and I could notice the way they talk. When they say like the word do or you, it's got like a do, or you.
Well, it's fucking crazy in England, man. I mean, you can live fucking
that's it,
half a K from someone and you can't fucking understand them. Yeah. You're talking a different language.
Yeah, pretty much.
Insane.
It's freaky how much variation there is over there.
But at least he could communicate with the locals. I mean, half the locals can't communicate with the locals.
Well, if the start of his life was unusual, he went on to live a pretty remarkable one. Like, he became the Major's footman and general servant. And then in the onset of World War I, he found himself conscripted into the army, joined the Northamptonshire Regiment, stationed at Fort George, and later served in the Middle East.
Wow.
He was awarded a British War Medal and the Victory Medal.
Fucking good on him.
After he was demobbed, returned to Rothes and resumed his duties at Glengrant House. He also joined the local amateur football team, Rothes Victoria, where he earned the reputation as a solid and reliable goalkeeper.
Excellent.
It's a man after my heart there, having played representative level as a goalkeeper in my junior years.
Nice. I played goalie in under sixes.
Good stuff.
I managed to save a goal. Only one. I did better than my younger brother though. That fucker scored one goal in his entire under sixes soccer career. He got slightly confused and kicked it into his own goal. You should have seen him. He was cheering. Everyone else was like, oh, fuck, dude. It's like, it's not as if we're winning. Like, we're losing by a lot. But you didn't have to help him, did you?
That's it. The percentage of like your contribution was pretty low.
Oh, I love him. Yeah.
Sorry, of their contribution, pretty low. It's also said, this is like fucking tenuous, like if you want to paint yourself a niche, he was the only African butler to ever play for a Scottish team.
That's niche as
That
fuck, innit? Oh, no, sorry. I'm an African fucking cleaner. I'm not a butler. So I didn't get to fucking take that off. No, I think that's a little too niche.
Yeah, that's rather tenuous. When his playing days were over, he remained loyal to the team, regularly attended home games after the club joined the Highland League as Rothes FC, and he became so much of a fixture that he was eventually given a complimentary seat in the stands and a half-time cup of tea.
Good on him.
I love that. I love the thought of that. Someone actually buttles you.
Yeah.
Comes to you. If buttle is a verb.
Well, we are going to use it as a verb for the rest of the podcast.
From here on,
absolutely.
Yeah. And on the rare occasions when he watched Rothes at an away match, he travelled on the team bus. In 31, Major Grant died, but he made provisions for his heirs to maintain Byway.
Maintain.
Yeah, I love. He is full property, isn't he?
Make sure he's in good nick.
Yeah. Glengrant House was give the oil change every now and then. Tighten the bolts.
He's due a service.
Top him up with water.
Oh,
Glengrant House was requisitioned during World War II, and he was forced to take on employment as a servant in Lossiemouth, and he didn't enjoy that at all. After the war, he returned home to Rothes. However, Glengrant House had been turned into flats and let out to the steel workers, and Byway found himself living in one of the apartments, and provision was made for him. So I get his meals daily from the Seafield Arms in the village.
Oh, at least they kind of looked after him.
Yeah.
They didn't fuck him.
No, they didn't screw him over. They honoured Major Grant's wishes, which was nice. Byway, he passed away in 1972, and nobody really knew his exact age, although he's thought to be in around 80. And he left his life savings to the Rothes Football Club.
Sick.
He was laid to rest in that fungus-ridden grave that overlooks the distillery, and that was the end of Byway's chapter in the story of Glenrothes. Or so it seemed. A new still house was opened in 1980, but the new number 3 still wasn't performing as well as it should have. And around this time, Byway Spirit began to make appearances in the distillery.
Now, hang on. Which distillery? Is this Glengrant Distillery?
No,
or
Glenrothes. Glenrothes,
right.
yeah.
So what the fuck made him move?
Yeah, no idea. Maybe Major Grant sort of preferred that distillery. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? I'm assuming that he owned it. He was definitely not haunting the distillery in search of a dram, as he was actually his favourite tipple was gin and tonic.
Yeah, he never picked up on the local swill.
No, never developed a taste for it. So, they wonder what had upset the spirit of this modest and gentle African. And the story of the apparition reached the ears of Cedric Wilson, professor of pharmacology at the University College Dublin. I love that. Professor of pharmacology. I bet you're just another dude trying to get his dick hard and or off his face.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, both.
He was also an expert in paranormal phenomena and in ley lines, which a ley line, I had to look that up.
Now, who the fuck says, you're a pharmacology expert? Oh, yes, you must be an expert in the paranormal. You're not just taking too much of your own gear, are you, champ?
Yeah, he did it.
Fuck, man.
Ayahuasca? Never heard of it. Yeah, I had to go and look up ley lines, which is basically...
energy lines.
Yeah,
energy lines that crisscross the earth.
Yeah, they join apparently like sacred or mystical places.
Well, that would have been my first guess. You know, you got a ghost? Ley lines.
Ley
lines.
You got me on my knees, ley lines. So distillery management, rightly so, were highly sceptical, but they gave the professor permission to visit the distillery during the distillery's silent period in the August of 1981. And the visiting professor's suspicions were confirmed.
Thank goodness for that.
Of course they were. The new build had damaged an important ley line. The line passed through Rothes Castle, the distillery, Rothes Cemetery, and from thence to the Colburn Stone to the Pictish Fort at Burghead.
Right. So that's why, because the ley line was running through the cemetery to Glenrothes Distillery. So, he's trapped on that ley line, bro. He doesn't have a lot of freedom, you know? Fucking ley lines.
So what do you do to fix a J line? You jam iron rods into it to correct the energy flow.
Oh, scientific as fuck.
It is. Totally. And Byways going, ghost was never seen again.
Well, there you go. That's all the scientific evidence we need. Proof is in the pudding. Speaking of pudding, there's a fair bit of fucking pudding in this.
I was going to say, this has got a beautiful...
It's young pudding, though.
It's
young pudding.
It's got a really nice caramel aroma to it.
It does. And it's a rich caramel, too.
Yeah.
There's something slightly rank about it, though, isn't there?
Yeah, I think that's the youth. There's a bit of a sting,
Not too stingy, but it just...
almost like it's got solventy kind of...
exactly.
The alcohol's really sitting above it. It's the only thing tarnishing that nice deep caramel.
Yeah, so this is the ex-sherry, isn't it? The whiskey maker's cut.
I'm not sure, actually. I'm ditching the eye patch. It's getting really hard to read out of.
Fuck, I didn't even realise you were trying to read an eye patch. Of course that'd be fucking difficult. But then again, you're not a pirate without an eye patch, eh?
Then I've totally ruined my night vision now.
Lucky it's not night.
Okay, that just talks about... Yeah, first fill sherry casks. Yeah. Or sherry seasoned. I like it. They're actually telling the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
Go back and listen to the last episode.
Yeah.
Glenn Farkless, if you want to learn a bit about sherry casks.
It was we did. We learned a lot about sherry casks.
Yeah, well done. Well done. You've researched like a boss.
So these will have gone into... so these guys would have had their casks made for them by their cooper in somewhere in Spain. And if it's an actual sherry cask, it'll have to be in that little triangle. And they would have had a little bit of whiskey in them while they were on their way over here. And a little bit
of sherry in them.
I fucking do that a lot.
You did that last time. I had to fix it.
Yeah, thanks.
The video is going to be hard to fix.
Well, people are more forgiving of video, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they must be. They're looking at our mugs. But there's definitely pudding in there.
Yeah, I'm getting the sort of caramel tarts.
Yeah, there is a real strong caramel element to it.
That's my main thing. It's almost caramel sort of toffee to me.
Yeah, for some reason, the word jumped into my head, pecan. Don't know why. Maybe I like pecan pie, and maybe it reminds me of pecan pie.
Yeah, sure, I'll pay that. Pecan does, like, of all the nuts, it is the most sort of caramel kind of.
Is there a little shortbread in there as well, or am I just thinking about pecan pie now?
It's definitely in that family. But this is at I'd say at a pretty steep 48.8%. I have a feeling this is going to burn a bit.
Oh, you're not wrong. Woo! Little sharp on that first sip.
Well, very much too. The breath afterwards hurts.
Yep. A lot of spice to it.
Spice, but while it was in the mouth for a second, that is a really pleasant richness. but on the swallow and the finish, it just shatters sort of most of the enjoyment. This is definitely going to need some water.
Even second sip, still super spicy. A lot of pepper. The pepper of youth. You know what this needs, Rick?
A tame.
It needs more time in wood. Needs a lot more time in wood. Doesn't really open up much more on the nose after that sip either. That sip almost deadens you.
It does. I'm just getting sting and hate. It is getting a bit more pleasant, actually.
Yeah.
More pleasant in the mouth. That the sherry richness.
The finish on it is bitey.
Yeah.
Though.
Yep.
She ain't warm. She's hot.
Thankfully, it's kind of short though. It's actually becoming far more pleasant.
Yeah, each sip it gets better. It's still a little too spicy.
Yeah,
for me.
it really does need to be cut a bit.
This might be one of those rare occasions where I hit it with water straight away.
Yeah, not too much wood, not too much malt.
No, it's really taking. It's really taking its character from the sherry. A couple of drops open it up.
It's brought it back to.
Still that slightly fetid element to it on the nose. I wish I could work out what it actually was. One day I'll have the words for you, people, and I will share them with you. A little bit of tea coming through it now, I think. Could be tobacco. I do get confused between the two. No, it's tea. It's definitely tea.
High-end sting, lending itself towards sort of menthol. But that so the caramelly sherry richness of it is really, really quite pleasant. It's the most pleasant thing about it, and it is kind of it's kind of big on the mouth as well.
Yeah, it is.
Almost chewy.
Well, that water's improved it.
Yeah, a lot. I could even go more, and I've already put about 10 drops in there.
Yeah, I think I put about 4 or 5. I'm going to throw a couple through. That mouthful was a little bigger than I wanted it to be, which means I've got a little bit less whiskey than I want still in my glass. But that's a little bit better balanced.
Oh,
with the water at it.
I've just hit the sweet spot, actually.
Nice.
That's come good. Maybe 1 or 2 more. And that's actually delightful now. But yeah, first up, she was well rough.
Yeah, she's just a bit too spicy, just a bit too young. With a little bit of water, it softens that spice a little bit. Allows the
nice.
Caramel and the sherry, the actual notes of the sherry, as opposed to. It's not a sherry bomb. Don't get me wrong, but there's some real nice sweet raisins and maybe some glazed cherry in it. Some of those Christmassy kind of herbs. It is a.
I just love how rounded. I'm getting like butterscotch and all the really sweet ends, all the big, sweet, chewy kind of things.
Yeah,
that's what's happening
also
for me.
well rounded. It's not overly fruity, because you're right. That caramel and butterscotch is a great word.
It's not. It's definitely not going down like the fruitcake path. It's not. Yeah, it's not fruity at all.
No, there's a little bit of that fruit element to it that goes along with that spice, but it's not predominant, or it's not as predominant as I'd say the caramel. Yeah, kind of.
I almost want to jump in straight away and see what they say for their tasting notes.
Yeah, cool. Have a look.
Ooh, resinous candied peel and fresh oak notes. No.
I didn't get much oak out of it, unless that's what they want to call the pepper.
Taste rich, spicy, creamy vanilla. Vanilla's taken a back seat. They keep saying orange.
Maybe the bitterness of pith, like orange skin, but I'm not getting a big orange.
There is a hint of nutmeg, actually. I will go for that.
Yeah, vanilla's not far off.
I'll definitely agree with the creamy, but I don't... Only in the way that you'd add like a bit of vanilla to, yeah.
I agree with rich and spicy.
Yeah, very much. I agree with that a lot. Yeah, once that's well cut, it's
far more pleasant.
it's quite nice. It's still a bit bitey, but I can't even relate that to pepper in a way. It feels like a bunch of little black ants biting your tongue.
Yep. Well, thanks, Byway. That was educational and kind of weird as well. Well, I'm looking forward to this one from Jura. The Jura's it's an interesting place. I've tried a couple of their whiskies and really enjoyed them.
On a side note, I really, really wanted to do the Superstition. I figured the name
would have worked perfectly.
Ties in incredibly well, but due to the current state of affairs in the world, it was pretty well impossible to get a bottle
legit
in Australia.
Get your shit together, Europe. You are starting to impact us. We can't get whiskey. That's not good. It's not good. That's the beginning of the end. I'll be very upset. In saying that, I do feel for any of you poor fuckers listening to us over in the UK at the moment. I think today they announced that you guys were about to head into a fresh lockdown.
Oh, wow.
For a month.
Unreal.
So our thoughts are with yous. Obviously, as you go through something that we've just watched friends in Melbourne go through for 4 months. So we hope you get your numbers down real quick. Moving into winter over there, it's a tough time for you. Thankfully, you guys actually don't have to wait for boats to travel for long periods of time over large expanses of water at great risk to get your whiskey. You only have to go down the road. So hopefully someone will come up with an Uber whiskey service for
Uber
you
Drams.
over there. Uber Drams. Fuck yeah. Yep. But while you are in lockdown, make sure you're obviously listen to the podcast and drinking whiskey. But Jura, it's a sparsely populated island, Jura.
Yeah, sounds like a lonely place unless you're a sheep.
So she's off Scotland's west coast, and quite literally a few feet from Isla. It's got a couple of eerie whiskey-related stories. Almost 2.5.
You'd say, 2.5?
I mean, yeah. It's certainly not a full 3, but it's more than 2.
Yeah.
So it's in there somewhere. The first one, the legend has it that in 1781, Laird Archibald Campbell, who owned the island of Jura.
I love that he owned the island.
Yeah, it's my Ireland. It's my Ireland.
It's my island. All of Ireland's mine.
It's mine.
Dude, we're in Scotland. He doesn't give a fuck. He's king of the island.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like the title Laird. It's fucking cool. But old mate Archie, he outlawed distilling on the island.
What a prick.
What the fuck was wrong with him? So apparently, nearly 30 years later, he woke in the dead of the night to find a ghostly apparition of an angry old woman floating over him as he lay in bed. Now, that could have been anything. But yeah, I mean, it depends on how high he was, I suppose.
Yeah.
But she was furious that he'd outlawed the production of
Rightly
whiskey.
so.
Well, I mean, I'm sure everyone was. They probably, they all chucked in and did if we think about it hard enough, we can create an apparition over his bed. But because she was so furious that he'd outlawed the production, thoroughly berated him, and it scared him so badly that not only did he reverse the ban, he also built a distillery in 1810 to appease the bitch.
Nice.
Nice. Oh, that's great. To appease the ghost. Eventually, the distillery was moved to a new location, but rumour is that there's a bottle of 16-year-old buried at the site of the original distillery to keep the woman's thirst at bay.
I believe you recommended the 16-year-old to me once.
Sensational whiskey.
And I think you said it's quite often your Christmas dram.
Yeah, it
correct?
is. For mine, it's Christmas in a bottle, the Jura 16. So smooth, so rich, so fruity.
Yeah.
But it's a genuine sherry bomb. I'm interested in seeing what the addition of an extra couple of years has had on this one. So the original distillery is said to have been established in an old smuggler's cave at Craighouse. Campbell then evicted an aged female soothsayer that lived there, and as a result, she fucking cursed him. I mean, he's having a bad run, isn't he? He's making some poor decisions. Someone needs to take him aside and say, dude, make better decisions. Not that that'd make him make better decisions. Some of us just can hear it a million times and still make very poor decisions. But someone should have had a word with him. So the story goes that the evicted oracle prophesied that the last of the Campbell family to finally depart from the island would have only one eye, and all his earthly belongings would be carried on a cart pulled by a lone white horse. Now, that is fucking specific.
That is, isn't it?
You're not, that's a proper soothsayer. I mean, she must have been legit.
That's not like astrology shit. Where,
no, she wasn't making just vague,
You're falling on hard times, but the day will come and a new sun will come and you'll start to feel better. You'll see the light and your fortunes will change.
I sense a woman named Mary. No, Margaret. No, Meredith.
I'm getting an M anyway.
So a lone white horse. Not two of them, not even a grey. A fucking lone white horse.
White.
I love it. Anyway, in 1938, Charlie Campbell fell on hard times. Blind in one eye as a result of a World War I injury, he was seen walking his white horse and all his possessions to the pier, leaving Jura for good. Wow. Not just specific, but spot on. I love it.
I wonder if that inspired Deftones.
White Pony. Yeah, could have.
Probably not.
They don't strike me as whiskey drinkers.
No.
They strike me as cocaine lovers.
And I know that Steph Carpenter, he's a mad stoner from way back. But the second ghost story is far more recent. They have a cat, Elvis. And I love this. They were using basically a GoPro. They'd had a GoPro strapped to him trying to get footage for a promotional video, a cat cam.
Fucking hell. Not only do these pricks go and kidnap and put to work stolen African slave boys, that they fucking put the cats to work. Put the RSPCA on them.
Well, the cat caught a picture of a ghostly apparition. They say it's a woman. I've seen the actual photo. It's hard to say what it is. It looks like someone's just freshly lit or just extinguished a candle or just lit a cigarette and then got out of the shot.
Do we have the image? Can we link the image?
I will. I'll link it in the show notes. Yeah.
Oh, Jeff,
definitely.
I'd love a caption this competition from both listeners.
Stoner cat. So they called an actual, or so she says, psychic, Joan Charles. They called her in to investigate.
Hang on, I love an actual psychic. Not like a normal psychic, an actual psychic. No, not one of those normal psychics, an actual one.
No, John Edward motherfucker. This is Joan Charles. And she stayed in the distillery's lodge and sensed the presence of someone who was strong, authoritative, and kind. She claimed the ghost's name was Elizabeth Quinn, and as it turns out, then distillery manager Willie Cochran confirmed that there had been a school teacher named Elizabeth who once lived on the island.
Wow.
Coincidence?
What are the odds?
I think not.
What are the odds of there being a woman named the most common name in that
pretty
time
much.
on the island? Fuck. Couldn't have happened.
And on another occasion, Jura brand ambassador Willie Tate, he reckons he once heard a disembodied voice late at night in a lodge telling him the children are all right, which that kind of ties together. And at least Elizabeth seems to be a friendly spirit.
Oh, fair enough. At least she's not a prick about it.
Mm. Thus ends the paranormal activity at Jura.
Well, at least they got on the board, right? That's smelling a little bit. It smells. You can actually smell the wood in this. It's spent long enough in the wood to have the wood.
All that sting's gone, and it's far more fruity than caramel.
She is fruity, but there is that kind of. What is it? It's almost a toffee, not like almost burnt, like maybe golden syrup.
You're getting a little bit of like smokiness to it.
Yeah, like a burnt treacle kind of thing.
Yeah, could possibly the char.
Yeah, but it's. I can't put my finger on it, but it's sweet. I'm not sure what spice is in there, but is it maybe a little bit of cinnamon? Not much. It smells delicious, though. It really does.
Ooh.
Nice robe on it.
Far different on the palate than the nose. There's something really like earthy and vegetable kind of coming through, as well as that sweetness.
First sip is there's a hint of pepper to it, but I think that's the wood. So the oak comes through on that first sip.
Sort of peppery oak, but it takes quite a back seat.
But it's subtle. The first sip, it wasn't.
Yeah, it's very delicate. Like it's full-bodied but delicate at the same time. It's got a richness to it, but I really like that sort of whatever the earthy kind of vegetable-y kind of taste is.
There's a lot going on. It's kind of chewy, isn't it?
Kind of. I almost think the Glenrothes was chewier for mine, but who am I to tell you that your opinion is wrong or what you're tasting?
No, she's a full mouthfeel. Yeah, there's
it's big. It's very smooth.
Super smooth.
But that vegetable-y kind of flavour really... I know that the islands are... Except for Isla, the islands fall into the Highland category. And it does lean towards that Highland kind of signature. But it's pretty subtle compared to some Highlands out there.
Yeah, it lacks that distinctive, and because we don't have a word for it, that kind of rank Highland.
What I'll say that I smelt in that bland mandarin rind.
Yeah, right. Bland mandarin rind.
Oh, the mandarin wasn't nice. What didn't have that nice tart citrusy flavour about it. It was. I have a feeling it might have been a bit just slightly old, overripe. But it was more in the peel, like even more the inside than it was like the oils.
Now it might be just because it was on the side of the Glenrothes box, but I do detect a little bit of candied orange peel in this whiskey.
I'll give this more than It's the more I'm tasting it, the more it does have that Highland signature is coming through. But geez, it goes down well. This is smooth as.
There's nothing wrong with this whiskey. Not as sherry bomb as the 16 that we were mentioning before, because as I said, for me that's Christmas pudding in a bottle. This very different. There's none of the nutmeg or the sharp spices that go in your Christmas pudding. There is fruit, but your fruit's restrained. It's
Yeah,
not.
yep.
It's not off the leash. It's not a sherry bomb at all. It's
It's almost like blackberries or something.
yeah. There's like maybe brambles.
Yeah, they're
You
the
know,
same thing, I think.
Yeah, they
It
stick
just
that
depends.
on the back of the box.
Depends what part of the world you're from, I think.
And it's kind of, but the wood carries it through, and gives it some framework.
The more I smell it, man, the more that Highland, almost Tasmanian thing is happening. The more I nose it.
Oh, is there a bit of gingerbread in there? I think there is. I think I detect just a tiny bit of gingerbread in there.
It's entirely possible. So just reading the back as well, it's finished in red wine. I think that says a lot.
Okay,
That says a lot, actually.
Finished in red wine, hey? I've been trying a lot of whiskies finished in red wine. I've got a few on the shelf that are that I don't want to open because they're quite limited runs. But I enjoyed what was it?
Starwood, maybe?
Well, I haven't opened either of those because they're
Okay.
they haven't finished the set yet. But the Ardbeg Grooves was finished in
really?
ex-red wine casks.
Okay.
And I think in that situation it was genuinely ex-red wine cask, not red wine seasoned, like it is quite often with the sherry. I don't often read straight off the back of a bottle, but this copy's lovely. This is a quote. They say that time and tide wait for no man. On Jura, by contrast, time is stretched by the changing of seasons and tempered by its unique microclimate, with each passing year bringing its own riches. Matured for 18 long years in American white oak ex-bourbon barrels and enriched by the finest red wine casks, a unique spirit is created that has truly come of age. It's just nice copy.
It is. That is well written.
Yeah, so just to go along with what we did with the Glenrothes, reading the tasting notes earlier, according to this, a rich and full-bodied malt with quality red wine finish and refined smoky notes. This elegant malt is rosewood gold in colour with warm aromas of toffee, tropical fruits and cinnamon, followed by rich black forest fruit, bitter chocolate and espresso coffee on the aftertaste. Now, I didn't pick up any chocolate or coffee on the aftertaste. I have no doubt I will next sip, though. But we weren't too far off. I mean, I didn't pick tropical fruits, but we got toffee, cinnamon, and brambles, which is rich black forest fruit, is it not? That's not too bad. I've put a couple of drops in this as well. So.
Okay. Open it. What does this run at? Doesn't say on the box. To me, it's borderline perfect.
Yeah, it doesn't need a drop. I only do this because I'm happy to
44.
Yeah, I'm happy to make these sacrifices for the listeners.
It's worth a try.
Yeah. I mean, there may be times where they've sat there and gone, oh, should we... That'd be the easiest thing to do. There may be times that they've...
do would be to sit the glass over here.
Actually, that is probably a good idea. You're a genius. What was I saying? Something rubbish. There may well have been, the odd time where someone's gone, should we add a drop to this? Oh, no, those guys said not to. Oh, you should do it anyway.
If it's your first time, yeah, for sure.
I fucking know.
That's actually giving it far more bite, I reckon.
Yeah, weird. It's a little pepperier.
Yep. Definitely, yeah, very much white pepper, which doesn't last too long.
No, it doesn't, but it's kind of split the balance of it. So note to self, they bottled it fucking spot on.
Just added a couple more. It's getting better. That's really enjoyable. Like, it's nothing to write home about, but it's really enjoyable.
Yeah, it's different. The red wine cask, obviously. So as I said, the 16's pure Christmas fucking pudding in a bottle. The red wine gives it more of a. It's. There is, as it says, there's toffee. I'm not picking up any of the coffee or chocolate on the aftertaste, but yeah, I probably shouldn't smoke.
I did get a nice bit of wood out of it. Just going back to nosing the Glenrothes now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which it's, the oakiness is starting to come out. I love that. The caramel, though, the toffee caramel, it's great on the nose. It noses really, really well.
Yeah, different whiskies. Very different whiskies. Both very enjoyable, though.
Mm.
But we come to that part of the evening, Rick, that I have been most looking forward to.
What where you get to tell us a story?
I love telling stories. But because I usually find something a little bit different that catches my attention, and I end up usually
kind of your bag, isn't it?
I usually go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, you're good at doing that.
And I was led down a rabbit hole this time by an actual story from a mutual friend of ours discussing Halloween. Because Halloween, I don't know about you. I suppose depending on where in the world you're listening to this from, you may celebrate Halloween. You may be sitting there going, "Why the fuck is a whiskey podcast doing a Halloween thing?" It's because he's in costume. Loves it. That's the whole thing. Is we like themes, right? We're prog boys. We like concepts. Mm-hmm. But Halloween and trick or treating was not a thing when I was a kid. There was a couple of times people knocked on the door and they were firmly told to fuck off. That's just what we did. But I was talking to someone only very recently, a mutual friend, that said they had a similar kind of thing because in the Central Coast in the 80s, not many people doing it. But it kind of picked up a bit in the 90s when we were able to fuck with people, I suppose. So they decided that whenever someone would come up and trick or treat, and they decorate the house too. Like actually put a couple of things out the front just to bring some bait in.
That's what lets the kids know that you're up for it. I think you don't go and knock on the door of someone whose house isn't decorated. Yeah. That's a general rule of thumb in Australia. Like in America, they'd be far more accepting whether they decorated their house or not.
Well, they reckon I read today that they reckon $8 billion gets spent in America for Halloween, like associated costs.
Hardly surprising, but
I mean insane. But look at all that plastic straight in the ocean.
Yeah.
But anyway, what they do is the elder brother would open the door and then, explain to them why Halloween was shit, why we didn't celebrate in Australia, and why they didn't deserve a treat, but they might get a trick. And while they were listening to this wonderfully delivered spiel, no doubt, the younger brother would stand there and pour a bucket of water on them from the upper balcony. Superb. Superb. So I've gone down a kind of anti-Halloween, kind of bent, and just found a couple of things that tickled me, just little anecdotes and stories. One that I really liked was the mention from someone that was doing trick or treat, and they said that very late in the evening, after all the trick or treating was done, some kids just rocked up, knock on the door, and as he's opened the door and called, "Oh, what are you supposed to be?"
Well, what was he wearing?
Oh, yeah, but asked, "What are you supposed to be?" And, this kid's just completely dressed in red, right? There's no character outline or anything like that, just completely dressed in red. And he said, "I don't know, I'm your period. Sorry, I'm late." Oh, yeah.
Fucking zing.
I like that.
Yeah, I love a good bit of wit.
I also, because I love controversy, Rickus. I fucking love controversy. And I found a story that tickled me a little, a controversial social media posting from Halloween, a costume that had a bunch of people saying, "No, I'm really into this. I think that's amazing," while the rest of the world went, "I'm not sure." And with controversial topics like this, you know who we're talking about. No, it's not the flat earthers, it's the anti-vaxxers. So some very intelligent, educated, and open-minded woman has decided to found a skeleton, a child skeleton, somewhere. I don't know. Maybe she dug it up. I didn't read all the details.
I'm sure you can get one for like. There'd have to be molds of child skeletons.
Yeah, it would have been just a
remember we had like
toy skeleton.
Surely your high school had a model of skeleton.
Oh, dude, I went to a very small, very broke high school. I don't think we had one. We had horses and cows out there.
And I don't know if statute of limitations. The head.
That doesn't exist in Australia. You know that, right?
The head went...
Actually, maybe it does. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer.
The head kind of went walkabouts after a person that I know was trying to make molds of it.
And that's not it here in front of us either. Just,
No, that's definitely not it. They can have this one if they want it. Hell, I got another one that doesn't have a bottom jaw.
Anyway, we've digressed. What have we digressed from?
Sorry,
Halloween.
Yeah.
So she found a child skeleton, put it in a cage, and walked around with it, telling people that asked her what she was, that she was herself with her dead unborn baby, with her dead baby because it wasn't vaccinated. And it's fucking around the party. Oh, what are you? I'm me with my dead baby because it's not vaccinated. No,
heavy.
I've totally fucked that up.
Ripcord.
I'm so glad we can edit this. This is why we don't do it live. Fucking Rogan. I'm gonna go right back. Oh fucking hell! I mean, things come off. It's all gone pear shaped. Anyway,
it's all pumpkin shaped.
You know me, Rick. I love a bit of controversy. I do.
Controversy makes the world go round.
That's one of my favourite things, and I love silly people controversy as well. And you wouldn't think there'd be too much controversy with Halloween, but I found one. And with the people that I love, the people that quite often give us controversy, not flat earthers, but anti-vaxxers. So a woman caused a bit of controversy and a bit of a stir with a social media post that had some support. Had some not support.
The opposite of support. Mal-support. You could say.
Unsupport. Dis-support.
Dis-support.
I'm just disappointed.
I'm not upset.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. Anyway, she's found a skeleton mold of a baby, and she stuck it in a cage. And she's gone to a Halloween party, and when asked, "Oh, gee, what are you dressed as?" She's gone, "Oh, I'm dressed as me, carrying my dead baby because it got vaccinated."
Oh, wow. Oh.
Yeah, that's neck level, right?
Yeah, jeez.
Like, that's fucking dark, man. Like, that's not only super ignorant, but super dark.
I'm flabbergasted.
And that's a real downer. I mean, who the fuck goes to a party and just, brings up fucking... I mean, I suppose anti-vaxxers go to parties and bring up vaccinations, but that's uncool. That's one of the reasons I don't hang out with anti-vaxxers. I mean, there's a lot of other reasons why I don't hang out with anti-vaxxers, but one of them is just they're fucking clearly downers at parties. What a cunt. Straight up. And I do like just a last finishing anecdote that I came across from Jimmy Fallon, no less.
Okay.
Said that he went to a Halloween party one evening, one year, and there were 3 different dudes all dressed as David Hasselhoff. So this must have been years ago when Jimmy, when Jimmy Fallon was young, and David Hasselhoff was still David Hasselhoff when David Hasselhoff when David Hasselhoff
a couple of
was
Freudian
still
slips there, mate.
Yeah. I'm really sorry, dude. I'll tell you what. I'll edit this one. I owe it to you. Anyway, so Jimmy Fallon had one that I enjoyed reading about. He went to a party. There were 3 separate David Hasselhoffs at said party. And at this party, there was a pool. Someone fell into said pool, and all 3 David Hasselhoffs
Please tell me they
jumped
drowned.
into the pool to save life. Well, it would have been better if they drowned.
Yeah.
But all 3 jumped in there. That's fucking commitment to your character.
It's pretty good.
Or is it fucking... Fuck, one David Hasselhoff's jumped in. I have to jump in too.
Yeah, jeez. I'd like to think that one of them started doing like the like made the drum noises, and then the other one started singing the song because David Hasselhoff actually sang the theme
And then
song.
the other one starts running in slow motion towards the pool.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
And meanwhile,
that's
this
commitment.
cunt's fucking drowning.
Oh, they didn't tell me whether the person survived or not.
One thing I heard today is David Hasselhoff has teamed up with like a Austrian metal duo. He's releasing a metal song.
Sick. I can't wait to hear how cheesy that is, because
bet
that
you
will be
it's cheesy as balls.
cheesy. Be so cheesy. That'll be
Did you ever hear when Christopher Lee, he did a metal album as well?
No.
Okay, it was all...
As in the dude that was Batman? No. Superman? No, that was a different
No, that's Christopher Reeves. Is it Christopher Lee? I think that's his name. He was Saruman in Lord of the Rings. Tall, skinny guy with a...
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't remember people's names. I do remember Saruman. I just don't remember his
he
name.
did this one song about Charlemagne. Like, it's all historical sort of stuff.
Sick.
Yeah.
Historical fiction metal.
Yeah.
Historical non-fiction metal.
It's got that power elements of power metal to it.
Oh, God. I just accidentally nosed this.
Isn't it wondrous?
Oh, my God.
Bowmore.
I fucking love Islay.
Dead set, one of my favourite distilleries.
This is a wonderful distillery. We haven't done it on the podcast yet, so we're not going to go into history or anything tonight. We're just going to share with you the story.
Share the fact that it's the oldest distillery on Islay, like founded back in 1779.
Yeah. And has the largest selection of stock aging in Scotland, possibly the world.
I thought that was Glenfarclas. Oh,
no.
Do you mean like the widest variety, not like the most volume?
The most volume of aging stock is Bowmore.
Okay.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
That's awesome.
But
I also think too, if you're going to try and get someone into Islay, Bowmore is a fantastic place to start because they don't try and bitch slap you with Peat Fest.
No, they tickle you with it. They just there's foreplay. You know, there's nice foreplay, like not slap you around foreplay. You know, let's warm you up. Let's get you nice and moist.
So much balance, depth, complexity.
One of my favourite distilleries.
Yeah, for sure.
And they've got a fucking story. Well, they've got a couple of stories, don't they?
They do. They do indeed.
I think we probably the story that we probably both like the most is probably my favourite ghost story of all time.
It is the best one.
Straight up, like this is brilliant because it's not. Well, I'm not going to give you the synopsis. I'm going to tell you what the story is. So, as we know, we may not have mentioned because we haven't done Bowmore before, but Bowmore is the oldest distillery on Islay, founded back in 1779, and a resident ghost is said to inhabit the distillery's vaults. Not only that, but the devil is claimed to have been chased out of Islay. Has been chased out of Islay, the whole island, by a bunch of distillery workers. Now that's the kind of story that distillery workers would tell when there's a bit of a work shortage going on. Well, Jim, we've got too many distillery workers. Maybe we should let some go. Oh, did you know we fucking got rid of the devil? Don't fuck with us. We'll bring him back.
I love the fact that they built a round church so that because there was no corners for the devil to hide in.
That really. It just goes to show the science behind spirituality, doesn't it? It's superb. It really is
problem
superb.
solvers, though.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, the problem is we've got fucking evil spirits. It's probably the corners. Yeah, fuck yeah, let's get rid of the corners. Let's make everything round. I love it. But where do you want to start? Look, I reckon we should start with the Headless Horseman because it really
unreal.
Is. It's my favourite ghost story, straight up.
Scotland's very own Sleepy Hollow.
So good. So the story goes that there was an Islay crofter named Lachlan Bunn, and he was returning home one dark and stormy night when he saw the ghostly silhouette of a headless horseman galloping away from his house.
Do you sidestep? Sorry. Do you happen to know what a crofter is?
I think they're. So I could be wrong about this, but someone that works on a farm or someone that works... No, that'd be a farmer. Someone that works in a croft?
See, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what a croft is or crofting. That's something I might have to look up, and we'll add that to the show notes.
Absolutely. Well, you have to.
I was wondering if it had
ignorance.
If it had anything to do with roofing, like a thatcher.
It kind of does sound like
that's maybe I don't know.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Maybe someone that build.
They could well stuff mattresses for all I've fucking know.
They could. I mean, crofting might be an old term for slapping people on the ass as you walk past them down the street.
What the fuck? I'd like to be paid for that.
I'm a crofter.
Yeah.
Tap tap.
Yeah.
But we'll find out. We'll add to the show notes.
All
but so he's fucking come home. It's a shitty night, and there's a headless horseman galloping away from your house.
Yeah.
I'd be
rather hesitant to enter my home.
I'd be apprehensive. So he did. He was cautious in his approach, but the door wasn't just ajar, but wildly banging in the window of the store. So he gets in, realizes that the fire's been blown out. Fucking isn't that just a pain in the ass? Not only have I just seen a ghost run away from the joint, I'm cold and I'm wet and there's no fire. I'm royally pissed off about this whole thing.
I'd be terrified. I'd be absolutely terrified. I wouldn't be pissed off. I wouldn't have time to be pissed off.
Oh, dude, it gets worse, right? This is where you would get fucking pissed off. So he relights the fire, tries to get warm and dry, fucking, gets around to it. Then he realizes that it's not just fucking the rain and the wind that's made him cold. He turns around, finds an open bottle of Bowmore standing uncorked on the table with a large dram missing. Not just a dram, a large dram missing.
Dram.
So not only is the headless horseman
healthy.
fucking rude, but he's fucking...
He's literally necked a dram.
Hey, fucking... And he's a thirsty cunt. Not a little one. He's had a big one. Anyway, he's clearly lost his shit and thrown the bottle of Bowmore out, thinking a ghost has just tried to poison me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd probably drink the Bowmore, but these were old times. People weren't very educated.
It would have. I imagine it would have helped him sleep a bit better.
Oh, it would have. But anyway, so he's thrown it away. Didn't want to keep the ghost gift. Threw it away, locked the door behind him. Went to regaled the tale to the island, went to the pub, told everyone. I mean, fuck, that's good for a couple of drams, surely.
Yeah.
Oh, look out for the headless horseman.
If not only, to warn your neighbours.
Well, that's it. But I love the fact that as a result of that, there's still a tradition on the island that you'll only, someone from Isla will only, so I think it's an iliac.
I thought it was an Ilex.
I thought it... Well,
like a Jura is a Jurek.
Yeah,
an
so it would be an Ilex.
I thought it was an Ilex, but yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Again, a word I've never said or heard, only read. Okay. But so they say that a true Ilex will only ever serve guests from a fresh bottle, throwing the cork in the fire for fear of attracting the headless horseman. Which is all well and good. Except this is one of those, we sit there and go, ghost story must be a fucking explanation for it. Well, this is one of those delightful ones that does actually have one. So a few days later, Lockie catches up with his brother, right?
Right.
And his brother sits there and goes, oh, fuck, man, called in the other day, passed by, fucking shitty weather. So when I went into your house, the wind blew the fucking door open and fucking blew your fire out. I brought a bottle of Bowmore to share with you, but because it was so fucking cold, I had one good dram, left the bottle on your shelf, and then fucking ducked out, pulled me fucking coat up over me head because the wind and rain was so shit and rode away. Legit. Now you'd sit there and go, well, hang on, if we know that, why is there still a tradition to these days that Ilex, won't serve you one out of an open bottle? Well, I
imagine he would have felt a bit too red-faced.
After going to the pub and telling everyone that there was a headless horseman on the island and it stole your Bowmore and you've been accepted free drinks for the last couple of days, I don't think you're going to go back to the pub and go, actually, guys, my brother come round and fucking brought a bottle, took a dram, and I fucking really overreacted to the whole thing. And, nah, you are going to sit there and go, don't fucking tell anyone. We'll leave it in the will. We'll tell the kids. We'll tell the people at the distillery. The story will come out once we're dead and gone. Let's just keep drinking free whiskey for a while. I love it. A ghost story with a legit reason for it. That's my favourite ghost story. My favourite ghost story from one of my favourite distilleries. Mm. We're special. We're very fortunate, aren't we? Oh, God, the gentle peat.
I love the gentle peatness. There's so much balance on the nose.
Oh, like there's no spice. You know, so this is a year younger than the Jura, but it smells 2 or 3 years older.
I think the peat also can help mask that spiciness a bit because it's such an intense aroma in itself. But yeah, I've been nosing it for a while. And I don't know what else you can really say about it. It's just a gentle peater, just a really nice, well-rounded whiskey.
It really is. That's
on the nose.
It's super well balanced. The peat caresses your balls and whispers sweet nothings in your ear, while the warmth, and this is the key for me anyway, that what marks a fine whiskey is that warmth spreads from the moment it touches your lips so gently right through your mouth, right down your throat, right down your esophagus, and you glow from the inside.
Yeah.
And this whiskey does that in fucking spades.
Yeah. I think once you sort of cut through the peat, like on your second sip, I start getting sort of a bit of a plummy kind of sweetness.
Yeah. Yeah, like, because there's not a lot of fruit on the nose. The oak comes through, but she's a malty dram. You know, the malt's the hero. Yep. The peat supports the malt. The wood supports the malt.
Yeah.
It's
beautifully rounded.
It's so delicate yet full-bodied at the same time.
Yeah.
So well balanced.
Although if we're throwing that full-bodied out there, I say like the Jura has far more body. Even the Glenrothes has far more body, but this is still really round.
This is by far the best balanced whiskey.
Yeah, but it's also
the most single-dimensional for the simple fact that it lacks the input from the fruit. Right?
Yes, and it's also it's our bias that it's what we like.
Oh, exactly. It is, but this is a far simpler whiskey than these two. There's a lot more going on because of the addition of the red wine finish and the sherry seasoned cask finish as well. This has got depth that comes from age. Mm-hmm. Has the depth that comes from peat. It has the depth, and that's as deep as it goes. This isn't as big on the bottom end of the palate as these two guys are.
For sure.
It's way more delicate, but it's perfectly balanced, and maybe it's not rounded as it is. So when I think rounded, I think of the traditional flask shape, where you've got a narrow neck and then the bulb at the bottom.
Circular flask.
This would be more fluted, right? A bit more like a champagne flute. It's not as wide on the body, but it's a bit more delicate, but it's still very round. There's no edges to this fucker here. No edges whatsoever, whereas there's a couple of edges on these guys. In particular, the Glenrothes. But yeah, for mine, there's that beautiful Isla, tobacco and your peat, the leather,
definitely.
Books.
I'll totally agree with the leather. I love that old books. Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, old books in a tweed jacket.
It's perfect sort of a stormy weather whiskey. This.
Yeah, and it's a statesman as well. Mm-hmm. That smoothness that comes from, it's not uppity like a young fella is. It's reserved and tolerant of young people, like a proper, a proper non-grumpy old cunt is. I really like that, and that is absolute.
Can understand why the devil himself would love this.
Fucking oath, and that's why they had to get rid of him.
Just drinking too much of it.
You think it's a hard life having the angel share? The devil shares a fucking damn sight worse. I'll tell you that much. Mm-hmm.
Well, they say they drove him away in 1837, and I reckon if they've got that date right...
Hang on, I did. Did you say 1837?
I said 1837.
Yeah, right.
And,
okay, that's interesting.
And if that's right, there's something about this tale that could make that quite spooky.
Indeed.
But on with the story. So the Cleveland Islanders, as we said, built a round church at Bowmore, which is... It's actually Killaloe Church, it's called, built in 1767. It's a Church of Scotland parish church which overlooks the township of Bowmore.
Cool.
Roof is supported by a single massive central pillar.
What would it have to be? It's round.
Yeah. The reason that they built a round church is because it didn't have any corners that Old Nick could hide in.
Well, because they realised what they needed to do.
That's it, they're thinkers.
Problem solvers.
But the local congregation reckons they spotted the devil in the church, so they chased him down through the village and into Bowmore Distillery's famed #1 vault. And as the warehousemen were filling casks, loading them aboard the paddle steamer, the Maid of Isla, the devil was lost. And it's believed that he escaped into a cask of Bowmore bound for the mainland. But, like the devil, the Maid of Isla also disappeared that night, never to be seen again. Despite having developed a taste for Isla whiskey, the islanders say the devil does not dare return on account of the treatment that he got the last time round, and apparently that's why no evil happens on Isla to this very day.
Well, I could completely understand that he's a big fan of Isla whiskies, and I can understand them not wanting him around. But did you say that the ship that disappeared that night that they chased the devil onto was the Maid of Isla?
Certainly was.
Now, that seems a bit dodgy.
It does, because the Maid of Isla was wrecked in the Firth of Forth on the 27th of October, 1835.
Is that not 2 years before 1837?
Your math skills are impeccable.
Fucking that's not said often.
She was driven ashore onto the rocks near St David's as a result of bad lookout keeping. I'd say someone might have tapped a cask.
Yeah, someone may have had a few drams too many.
And the Firth of Forth, just as a side note, it's an estuary. Firth is Gaelic for estuary of several Scottish rivers, including the River Forth, and it meets at the North Sea with Fife on the north coast and the Lothian on the south.
So not only did they chase the devil out of the fucking church, they chased him onto a ghost ship. Fuck yes. And they didn't even realise they were loading whiskey onto a ghost ship.
Yep.
I wonder if that was a bit of a... I wonder if someone had dodgy plates on. No, I was just waiting on the Maid of Isla. Yeah. No, she's had a fresh coat of paint. Don't worry about it. Oh, didn't she go down 2 years ago? No, that's rebuilt.
That's a good scam, actually. So you have... And the real Maid of Isla, they wreck her and make off with...
Or they wreck a shipboat.
That's...
wreck a shipboat, but keep the Maid of Isla, give her a paint job. No, that wouldn't work. You'd have to wreck...
Either way, they made out like a bandit with several barrels of Bowmore.
Shitloads of Bowmore.
I'd be stoked.
Oh, for sure. I'm stoked with just having a bottle. I had a bottle of the 18-year-old on my shelf. Oh, God.
Yeah,
I love that whiskey, man.
That is one of my dead set favourites. I know we harp on about Lagavulin 16 being one of the greatest of all time, but Bowmore 18 is phenomenal.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
I'm looking forward to the day that we do a Bowmore episode.
Yeah, well, that's peat and sherry, brought together and done well.
Yeah,
a lot of distilleries.
The colour of it too, that beautiful, rich depth. But that's enough complex. About the 18. We're not here.
No, we're doing the 17, and the 17 is so silky.
I'm also getting that Highland element. I've really got to find out what that is. To me, it just reminds me of the daffodils or something.
It's funny you say that. For the first time, I was picking that up just before as well. There is on the nose.
It's like a strange... It's almost a sourness, but it's a thick sourness. It's not like a lemon sourness or bitterness.
I wonder how we actually work this out. Maybe we just do fucking like several hours of word association until something fucking...
Either that or just buy it, but just crack open every spice on the shelf at Woolies. End up buying $412 of McCormick, which is a brand of spice for you not in Australia.
But I can, do yourselves a favour. Try the White Sands. That's a really lovely whiskey.
It's phenomenal.
Really, and if you're not an Isla drinker, this is a good Isla whiskey.
Fantastic place to start. Nice and smooth.
Super gentle. Just well done, Bowmore. Well done.
I almost refuse to add water to this, but I'm going to peg just a couple of drops.
It's fair. While you're doing that, I'm going to read the back of the box because we seem to have done that a little bit tonight. The copy's not as great. Craftsmanship and years of experience are reflected in the exceptional quality and taste of Bowmore 17-year-old single malt whiskey. Over time, the spirit has reached a certain maturity and perfect balance in the finest bourbon casks and has proven to be a personal favourite not of just whiskey aficionados around the world, but that of the distillery manager himself, securing its reputation as the manager's dram. That's pretty good.
Nice.
So their notes are: on the eye, warm antique gold. Breathe in, light peat smoke, rich treacle toffee, and ripe exotic fruits. I get a bit of toffee. I'm not sure about the exotic fruits.
Not so much, yeah.
Sip creamy toffee and malty sweetness together with a delicious warm smokiness. Yeah, I'm on board with that. It is a malty malt. It really is. Savour the incredibly smooth, warm, and comforting finish. Now, I know they're buzzwords, but that finish is smooth, warm, and it comforts me.
There's also a little description about where the white sands comes from. I liked this. I read this earlier. So Isle is an island diverse in its beaches, from sheer cliffs and gnarled rock to sea smooth pebbles and shingle. The most remarkable, though, are the beaches of the Big Strand and Lagan Bay, a stretch of coast just south of Bowmore on the shores of Loch Indal, where the ebb and flow of time has created 7 miles of the most pristine white sand. Maturing in Bowmore's legendary No. 1 vaults, where the devil is said to have disappeared, the oldest maturation warehouse in Scotland, and the only one below sea level. This 17-year-old single malt whiskey has slowly developed a finesse of flavours and connoisseur reputation.
There you go. That's good copy. Oh, this is really a fucking lovely
friggin'
drop.
Delightful. Can we give these some numbers, do you reckon?
I think we should. That's what they pay us to do. And when I say pay, I mean not give us any money at all.
But hey, if anyone wants to donate to the show, email us at podcast@livingthedram.com.au.
Hell yeah. Always taking requests and happy to talk to people that want to jump on board and sponsor the podcast. But yeah, I think we can give them numbers. Fucking.
I'm just going to have to run back through them just quickly.
Yeah, it's fair. It is fair, actually.
Oh, loving that caramel that's come out of
that Glenrothes has benefited from some significant time airing on the nose. It really has.
Yeah. We've also added
a caramel bomb.
Punishing amount of water to it.
We have. But that is a caramel bomb on the nose after about, an hour sitting there.
It's hard to...
breathing?
It's hard to... we're going to have to remember how it originally was, though, I feel, to give it its rating, which brings it down significantly. God, that Jura is bloody fantastic as well. So smooth, sweet.
Yeah, I'm definitely going reverse order. Or actually, I'm going in ascending order. So, I don't know if I can give that Glenrothes any more than a 6-1.
Oh, okay. You've been a little bit harsher than I would. I'm feeling maybe 6-6, which is awesome because it's Halloween. 6-6-6. Yeah, I'm feeling about a 6-6, I reckon. Maybe I always tend to shoot a bit higher first up, so I could bring it down a bit later on.
Look, I just think its youth is its predominance.
Actually, yeah, you know what? I've gone back on what I just said before, which you've got to remember how it first tasted before you added the water.
Yep. So the youth for mine makes it very peppery. The pepper's dominant. The youth is dominant. You know, it takes a little fucking with to get that right. You shouldn't need to fuck with your whiskey to get it right. So for mine, I can't give it more than a 6-1.
Yeah, okay. I'll sit on a 6.5 for now.
That Jura, though, is a different story.
That's pretty bloody good.
That's a... Oh, look. Fucking hell. I'm trying to, in my head, take out 7s again.
Yeah, I'm sort of leaning towards the same. And I can definitely endorse the Jura 18 and the Bowmore White Sands.
Yeah, I can. I can endorse them both.
But I also think that I'm trying to eliminate my bias as well, and I think they get a very, very similar score because of it.
Yeah, you're right, because I can't... I'm going to want to give this probably more than it's worth, because I like it.
Yeah.
You know, not for its sake as well, because I love the distillery and I love Isla. But in saying that, I think I can leave 7s out. And I can go with 8.2 and 8.4, respectively.
Okay, right. I think I'm going to give them both 8.2.
I'm going to give the element of peat and just smooth on this. There's no edges. Not that there's a lot of edges on the Jura.
See, I feel the Jura has less edges.
I think that the Bowmore's smoother.
Okay.
I think that for some reason it just that warmth starts at the lip and goes all the way down. That's the 0.2 for me. Whereas the Jura's, you know, the warmth starts, you know, back of the throat, back of the mouth. There's just, it's got a little bit more. Actually, no, you're right. I'm going to give them both 8.3 because the Jura has more depth. And that brings it up to 0.1.
Really does, yeah.
And I need to take the 0.1 off the Bowmore because the peat doesn't just make up for that.
Yeah,
that depth. You know.
That's good stuff. Unfortunately, the Rev, he's only reviewed the Bowmore White Sands.
Fucker.
And where is it? White Sands, age 17 years. A muzzled malt which shouldn't work, but it somehow does. I'd like for him to explain why it shouldn't work.
And what does he mean by muzzled? What was
I guess
like him left off the chain or something?
I guess in a way it probably just means confused.
So he's talking about the White Sands, and he's saying it's muzzled.
It's muzzled, yeah.
Interesting.
It's nowhere near as refined as the 18.
Oh God, no.
But I don't think. I also feel that this is it's a duty-free release. It's not. Yeah, you can't find it too many places. So it might be. It's not really a primary focus of the distillery, I feel.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, but he's given an 88, so he's obviously enjoyed it.
Even though he's called it muddled.
Muzzled.
Muzzled, sorry.
Maybe muzzled, he does mean that it's like restrained. Could well mean restrained rather than, but somehow does. I'd really like for him to explain that. But an 8.8, so...
All right, well, I've managed to find Jim's review from this year for the Glenrothes Maker's Cut. So he says, this doesn't read right, but it looks like there may be a couple of words missing because I'm reading a quote of it because we didn't have it in the Bible. So from his Whiskey Bible 2020, a semi-simplistic of happy, dry Oloroso dominating. The late sherry trifle, enriched with chocolate sauce, is deeply attractive. Unspoiled sherry casks at work, 95 points.
Insane.
Jeez, that is...
Insane.
That is fucking tough. But yeah, he's given it 95.
Okay, fair call. So it's possibly in the 2020 Bible.
Yeah. So I couldn't give that 95. Dear God, no.
No.
The other tasting note from someone that gave it 90. The nose offers rich fruit, plums and sultanas with milk chocolate and new leather. The palate is silky and luxurious with medium sweet cherry, vanilla, black currants and treacle, dark berries and black pepper on the lengthy, mildly oaky finish. So it's a much better review than I've been able to give it, that's for sure.
I would give it, but now that you've cut it with water, what would you give it?
Oh, with the water, I'd probably... Taking sevens out, I'm not as harsh to give it a 6.9. I'll probably give it a... No, I give it a 6.7 at best. That's just...
See, now that I've found the sweet spot, I find this jumps up to like a 7.8.
Which means you'd have to give it a flat 8, I suppose. Maybe.
I find that this is bloody amazing now that I've watered it down. But that's not what you presented with to start with.
No, exactly. Look, I'm never going to argue with The Godfather. I mean, how could you?
True that.
How could you?
I'll disagree, but I won't argue.
Yeah, yep, 100%. I'll disagree, but I will not argue.
Well, not that our listeners would know, but this time of year, Halloween, loosely coincides with your birthday.
Oh, you didn't.
Happy birthday, my friend.
You fucker. You're not supposed to do that. Especially when I'm the kind of bloke that fucking absolutely forgets literally everyone, including the bloke I'm sitting next to's birthday, even though I was hanging out with you the day after. So, well done. You win birthdays this year by far.
That's what the reminders in your notes are for.
Yeah.
Sorry, the reminders in your phone.
Now that is fucking cool. Now, I don't know if...
You might want to hold one up to the camera, yeah.
Absolutely. So what we have here is what looks like a piece of plastic with our logo on it. But because Rickus and I tend to solve some of our conflict using the ageless sport of dart. And that, my dear people, is the most perfect fucking dart flights you've ever seen in your life. That's fucking amazing.
And I'd just like to say, our listeners could also own some of the greatest dart flights they've ever seen.
And you should. You fucking should. Dear oh dear. This
basically 10 Australian dollars for a set of 3. Hit us up at podcast@livingthedram. That's also like plus postage, which should only be the cost of basically a stamp. So say $11 posted anywhere within Australia. Overseas listeners, it may not be worth your while, but hit us up anyway.
That's fucking cool.
That's our first bit of merchandise.
And trust me, I'm going to throw better darts with this. Oh, I can't wait to hand it to you. And I cannot wait to defeat you with fucking branded Living the Dram flights in my darts. But yeah, that's fucking awesome, dude. Thank you.
Happy birthday, my brother.
Oh, fuck, we're not socially distancing anymore.
I think that was worth it.
That
was
so
totally worth the COVID.
I'm super pumped, and I can't wait to beat you in darts using these flights.
I'm already 2 up, so...
Well, I look forward to being further beaten in darts with these dart flights, but that's fucking cool. Get yourself a set, guys. They look very fucking cool. They make you happy.
Well, happy birthday, my brother.
Cheers, brother.
Slunch of my beautiful people. I hope you've enjoyed our spooky tales for the evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, this was just a little bit of fun, a little bit of something slightly different in a world that needs something slightly different every now and then. We hope you've enjoyed it. We've certainly enjoyed it. I mean, fucking, how can you not enjoy it? Look at this cunt. Fucking look at him. He's a fucking pirate.
I actually had this idea not too long ago to release like pirate-themed fashion store. Guess what I want to call it? Yar Soul.
Oh, that reminds me of my favourite shit joke. Now, what is a pirate's favourite letter?
Most people think it's the R. It's actually the C.
It's the C. Yeah, fucking A.
Slancher people.
Slancher.